can start, Prabhuji, now.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I welcome all the Vaishnavas to the Iskcon Niagara program. Today, lecture is by His Grace Sathcitananda Prabhu, and the topic is Guru Tattva Part 2. Sathcitananda Dasa, initiated by Nitya Leela Pravishta His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami, has associated with Iskcon for over 30 years and is presently council member of the Iskcon Niagara Falls. He has performed various services in Iskcon like Pujari Seva, Sunday feast cooking, teaching harmonium to Sunday school kids. His forte is Kirtan, Bhajan, lectures and seminars on Bhagavad Gita, Vaishnava Bhajans, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Gaudiya Vaishnanva teachings. He has been invited to speak on spiritual subject matters, conducting many preaching tours, delivering various seminars and lectures at various Iskcon centers globally. To name a few, India, Canada, USA, Russia, Sweden, Belgium, France, Netherlands, Germany, Switzerland, and Mexico. He is dedicated to the service of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, by sharing Srila Prabhupada's teachings and glories. Now I invite His Grace Sathcitananda Prabhu for his lecture. Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadadvetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this month we are continuing in the theme of Guru Tattva, honoring the fountainhead of all the Gurus, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who is none other than Balramji, Baldev, Dahuji. So before I start my kirtan, we will do one bhajan that glorifies the Vaishnavacharya. O hey Vaishnava Thakur, Dayara Shadur. O hey Vaishnava Thakur, Dayara Shadur, hey dashe karu na kori. O hey Vaishnava Thakura, Dayara Shavura, ei dashe karuna kori. Diya pad chaya shodho amay tomara charana dhari. O diya pad chaya shodho amay tomara charana dhari. O he Vaishnava Thakura, Dayara Sagura, ei dashe karuna kori, ei dashe karuna kori. Chaye begadomi, chaye dosha shodhi, chaye guna dehodashe. Chaye begadomi, chaye dosha shodhi, chaye guna dehodashe. Chaye satsanga deho he amare, বসেছি সঙ্গের আসে। ছয়ে সৎসঙ্গ দেহ হে আমারে, বসেছি সঙ্গের আসে। ও হে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর, দয়ার সাগর, এই দাসে করুণা করি, এই দাসে করুণা করি। एक खाखी আমার নাহি পায়ে বল, হরি নাম সংকীর্তনে। एक खाखी আমার নাহি পায়ে বল, হরি নাম संकीर्तने तुमी कृपा कोरी श्रद्धा बिंदु दिया देहो कृष्ण नाम ध्याने तुमी कृपा कोरी श्रद्धा बिंदु दिया देहो कृष्ण नाम ध्याने ओहे वैष्णव ठाकुर दयार सागर এই দাসে করুণা করি এই দাসে করুণা করি কৃষ্ণ সে তোমার কৃষ্ণ দিতে পারো তোমার शक्ति आचे कृष्ण से तोमार कृष्ण दीते पार तोमार शक्ति आचे आमी तो कांगार ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुर আমি তো কাঙ্গাল কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি ধাই তব পাছে পাছে ও আমি তো কাঙ্গাল কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি ধাই তব পাছে পাছে ও হে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ার সাগর এই দাসে করুণা করি দিয়া পদ ছায়া শোধ হে আমায় তোমার চরণ ধরি कथामृतां तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमद्भागवतम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनः। जय जय प्रभुपाद, 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 जय जय श्रील प्रभुपाद, जय जय श्रील प्रभुपाद, जय जय नित्यानंद रोहिणी नंदन, हो जय जय नित्यानंद रोहिणी नंदना। जय जय श्री चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। जय जय श्री अद्वैत चंद्र सीतानाथ अद्वैत चंद्र, दया करो सीतापति अद्वैता गोसाई, तव कृपा बले पाई चैतन्य निताई। दया करो सीतापति अद्वैता गोसाई, तव कृपा बले पाई चैतन्य निताई। जय 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 श्री चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, निताई गौर हरि बोल, निताई गौर हरि बोल, 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 निताई गौर हरि बोल। प्रभुपाद, 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद। गुरुदेव, 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 जय जय गुरुदेव, जय जय गुरुदेव, जय जय गुरुदेव, जय जय गुरुदेव। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल, गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल, गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। This week is a very auspicious week. we have the appearances and disappearance of many, many glorious Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas, Raghunath Das Thakur, Raghunandan Thakur. We also have Pundrik Vidyanidhi, and also the appearance of Sri Advaita Acharya and many other wonderful, glorious Vaishnavas. We seek their blessings for our spiritual advancement and so that we obtain pure bhakti. Samsara Davanala Tronaya Karunya Ghana Ghanatvam Praptasya Kalyana Gunarnavasya Vande Guru Shri Charana Ravindam Vande Guru Shri Charana Ravindam Vande Guru Shri Charana Ravindam Yasyam Prasada Bhagavad Prasado Yasya Aprasada Nagati Kutopi Dhayanstuvanstasya Yasyastri Sandhyam Vande Guru Shri Charnarvindam Vande Guru Shri Charnarvindam Vande Guru Shri Charnarvindam Aradhyo Bhagwan Vrajesha Tanayas Tadham Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Rajavadu Vargena Taya Kalpitaha Srimad Bhagavata Puranayamalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Mataidam Nayatrayagraha Paraha. Jai Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. All glories to all the Vaishnavas. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Radhika Sarojaindu Nindi Mukhamandali Vandiye Shri Pada Padma Vrishabhanu Nandini Vandiye Shri Pada Padma Vrishabhanu Nandini Vandiye Shri Pada Padma Vrishabhanu Nandini. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much for assembling here for the Iskcon Niagara Falls weekly Saturday program. We are very fortunate to present the Guru Tattva based on the different Vaishnava Acharyas' teachings. It's like offering, when we worship the Ganga, how do you worship the Ganga or Jamna or any of the holy rivers? We do that by offering the same waters to them. So similarly, this particular sessions that we've been last week, this week, and the following week, the whole month, rather, we'll be offering their own teachings as an offering to them. So I am very humbled. I'm very fortunate to speak on such a great, sublime subject matter. And if there are any inebrities or mistakes, I beg for forgiveness in advance. And I hope whatever words emanate from my mouth, they are pleasing to the Vaishnava Acharyas, to the listeners. For our own spiritual benefit, we offer their own teachings and their words. So just a quick revision about the Guru Tattva from last time, in case of some of the Vaishnavas who missed it. Just to recap, we are actually celebrating the month of Lord Nityananda Prabhu's appearance. Iskcon Niagara Falls decided to dedicate this month to Guru Tattva. Lord Nityananda, he is the fountainhead of all the Gurus. He is an expansion of Lord Balram. Narottam Das Thakur says, Vrajendra Nandana Shachi Shuta Hoilo Sei, Balram Hoilo Nitai. Vrajendra Nandan, the son of Nanda Maharaj, he appeared from Golok Vrindavan as the son of Mother Sachi. Sachi Suta. Suta means son, and Sachi is the name of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mother. So Vajendra Nandana Sachi Suta Hoilo Sei, Balaram Hoilo Nitai. And Lord Balram, who is the son of Vasudev and Rohini Mata, and of course, a loving son of Nanda Maharaj, he also appeared simultaneously along with Gauranga Mahaprabhu. He appeared in this world in the Navadvip area, in Ek Chakra Gram, not too far, all in the Gaudiya. He appeared as Lord Nityananda. So, in our spiritual life, or in any other kind of I would rather say in any walk of life, if we want to be successful, even if it is something like a school, our successfully passing from one grade to another, or even when we are in college, when we graduate and further postgraduate, and perhaps a lot of us, would like to go into different specialties like engineering and different sciences and medical school, etc. We definitely need the assistance of teachers and professors. Even right from birth, it is said in the Shastras, Janmana Jayate Shudra, Sanskarat Bhavati Dvija. We are all born as Shudras. The word Shudra in Sanskrit, the basic and the fundamental meaning of the word Shudra means ignorant. So, what the Shastras say is that Janmana Jayate Shudra. At birth, we are all ignorant or Shudras. Sanskarat Bhavati Dvija. And through samskaras or through proper culture, we become Dvija. Dvi means twice, and Ja means Janma. Dvija means twice born. So basically, when we are born from our mother's womb, no matter what our past lives may be, we may be top-notch scientists or doctors or Nobel laureates, but still, everything is lost. And the mother and the father and the family members, they teach us the words, and then we slowly repeat them. Daddy, mummy, etc., grandpa. So everything has to be taught. We are so ignorant, even our ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. So Janmana Jayate Shudra Sanskarat Bhavati Dvija. And especially the sanskarat bhavati dvija, which the Shastra indicates, is that those sanskaras that actually liberate you from this permanent situation of birth, death, old age, and disease. These are the true eternal sanskaras that will take us home back to Godhead. And for that, we have to abide by the Shrutis or the Vedas, the Smrutis, the auxiliary Vedic literatures under the guidance of Brahminical culture, under the guidance of Vaishnavas. So that is the real sanskar. And once we obtain the sanskars from them, bhavati dvija, we become twice born. First birth is from the mother's womb, and the second birth is when the Guru initiates us, when a Vaishnava is so merciful upon us that he or she imparts a spiritual knowledge to us. So then it is, as we say always, Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance. So that's the same thing as what the Shastra is saying, that Janmana Jayate Shudra. I was born in the darkest ignorance. And my spiritual master, or the Vaishnava Acharya, opened my eyes with the torch, enlightened me with the torch of spiritual knowledge. Very, very amazing concept, which they shower. So I offer my obeisances unto such gurus. It is plural. We examined the first verse last week pretty much in some details, not in all the details, because each and every verse of the Mangalarti or the Gurvastakam has got so much nectar packed in it that it is almost impossible to do justice, very quickly. But we try to touch upon the main points, which is the philosophical importance of the Gurvastakam, compiled by His Divine Grace, Srila Vishwanath Chakravati Thakur, whom everybody in Iskcon, well known as the Mangalarti, Samsara Davanala Loka Tranaya Karunya Ghana Ganatvam Praptasya Kalyana Gunarnavasya Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. So here we find in this entire 8 verses, there is some external reasons, mainly philosophical in nature, and there are internal reasons, which are actually for the rasic, or the laden with rasa, or the mellows of the madhurya rasa. There are 5 rasas which most of you are very familiar with. The first rasa, or you can say relationship or a mellow, is shant rasa, where one actually is acknowledging the higher source, the Supreme Lord, and also worshipping that Supreme Lord in the form of Paramatma, in his own heart and in the hearts of others. And he sees Paramatma everywhere. So like a yogi, there is no particular interaction of any intimate seva involved. Just by mere darshan, the yogi or the devotee is satisfied. That is one relationship. The second relationship is that of dasya ras, wherein the relationship or the mellow or the rasa is that of a master and a servant. Dasya itself indicates a servant. Das means servant. As we all know, in our movement, Srila Prabhupada, following in the footsteps of the Acharyas, when we are becoming dvijas, twice born, when we get our sanskaras through the surrender, and when we initiate, our name, last name, or the suffix becomes das for males and dasi for females. So that is very significant in spiritual life, that Jiver Swarup Hoy Krishner Nitya Das. The constitutional position of the Jiva is that the Jiva is an eternal servant of Sri Krishna. And again, just to reiterate from last time, when we say Sri Krishna, our consciousness is based, and our explanations and our understanding is based on the Krishna from Golok Vrindavan, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead that Lord Brahma eulogizes in the Brahma Samhita, and almost every line at the end of every verse, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. And also in the Vedanta Sutra, the very first acronym, Janmadi Yasya, or in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the very first two words, Janmadi Yasya, and Satyam Param Dhimahi, the Samam Bonam, or the ultimate truth, or the source of all the sources, Sarva Karana Karanam, is Nanda Nandan, Sri Krishna in Golok Vrindavan. And we explained that last time, that he expands himself simultaneously, one as his Haladini Shakti on his left as Srimati Radharani, and to the right, he expands himself as the Sandhini Shakti, as Lord Baldev. And it is Lord Baldev who actually is the cause of all the causes in the entire spiritual worlds and the material worlds. Actually, Sri Krishna Nanda Nandan, he does not even take one step outside of Golok Vrindavan. He does not take a step outside. It is mentioned in the Shastras, Ekam Padam na gacchati Vrindavanam. He does not step even one step outside of Sri Vrindavan or Golok Dham. So who is creating all these material worlds? Who is creating Vaikuntha? Who is creating all the different planets of the Vaikunthas? Who is creating, or who is the source of all the different avatars? So that source is Lord Baldev, who is the first simultaneous expansion along with Radharani in Golok Vrindavan, who is responsible, and he is the Sandhini Shakti. He is the one who can actually, who is present in all the different rasas, in all the 5 rasas. So I mentioned about the first one was the Shantras, the second one being the Dasiras. The third rasa can be the one where one can consider Krishna as their friend, or the Supreme Lord, which is known as Sakyaras. Like we have so many examples, Arjun, the Pandavas, and even in Vrindavan Dham, Subal, Sudama, Sridham, Stoka Krishna, Visalaksha, so many different Madhumangal. These are all friends of Sri Krishna. So these are all, and there are thousands and thousands of them, perhaps millions and millions of friends of Krishna in the Sakyaras that are present. And then the next rasa, or the mellow, is the Vatsalya rasa, which is the mellow of parenthood, a relationship between, the loving relationship that happens between parents or parental figures that are older in age, and they always show and express their love towards the Supreme Lord, Nanda Nandan, as if that he is his own son. And of course, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mai are the parents of Nanda Maharaj, or of Krishna, Nanda Nandan. And all the other elder gopis and gopas, they feel that Krishna is their own in Vrajmandal, in Gokul, and therefore they have this fatherly and motherly love, or mellow, or rasa. And then the 5th rasa is the rasa of Madhurya rasa. Now, I really don't have that much time to go into the details of Madhurya rasa, because that is maybe perhaps a story of a lifetime, or probably story of lifetimes. But the main theme of Madhurya rasa is a relationship that one can build with the Supreme Lord as a lover and a beloved. Just like we see in the mundane world, this relationship between a boyfriend and a girlfriend, or a relationship between a husband and a wife, a very intimate relationship. And the most interesting part is that this Madhurya Ras encompasses all the other 3 relationships, except the first one, which is the Shant. Shant Ras is for yogis. There is no interaction, there is no seva. It's just merely by seeing, the Lord in his form of Paramatma in meditation, the yogi is satisfied. But the other 4 rasas which are there, which is the Dasya, the Sakya, the Vatsalya, and the Madhurya Ras, it's full of interaction and full of seva. And that is why they have a lot of importance. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in a conversation with Rai Ramananda, Madhya Leela, I think it is the 8th chapter, this is a wonderful conversation wherein Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually inspiring Ramanand Rai by asking him wonderful questions. And he asked him that, please tell me, based on the evidence of Shastra, you have to quote verses, whatever answers you give me based on my questions, they should be supported by Shastra. What is the highest goal of life? Unlike that, Ramanand Rai quotes several verses from the Bhagavad Gita, including the Sarva Dharman Paritejya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshasyami Masu Chavasa. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not fully satisfied. Interesting enough. So, I'm going to be sharing some of the most important mellows of our Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Because we should know what school of line of thought in theism or spirituality, how fortunate we are. When I will be sharing some of these things, I think devotees, most probably, I'm hoping, at least I know that every day, I'm very thankful that I am admitted to this wonderful highest school of theism, the highest school of spirituality of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, which Iskcon is a major branch. So every day I just, can't thank enough those sincere followers of Srila Prabhupada and the Gaudiya Acharyas. And that is the whole idea of highlighting Guru Tattva from the perspective of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas. Now, obviously, there are so many different bona fide Vaishnava groups or Vaishnava Sampradayas that are also bona fide. There is Sri Sampradaya, that the main Acharya is Ramanujacharya, and most of the devotees are from the South Indian background, the followers, or the Sri Sampradaya. And then, of course, there is a Sampradaya from Lord Shiva, Rudra Sampradaya. And then there is this Sampradaya from the four Kumaras, etc. And then this Sampradaya that we are in is in the Sampradaya where Lord Krishna gave tremendous spiritual knowledge along with material knowledge to Lord Brahma. This particular Brahma, who was so fortunate that he was imparted the Kam Gayatri mantra, through his flute directly from Golok Vrindavan, initiating Lord Brahma, Sanskarat Bhavati Dvija, twice born. Lord Brahma was first born from the navel of Garbhodaksai Vishnu. But the second birth of Lord Brahma happened by the initiation of Nandanandan, Brajendanandan Krishna, Radha Raman Krishna, Radha Govinda from Golok Vrindavan, initiated Lord Brahma through the Kam Gayatri mantra, giving him immense knowledge, especially giving him insight of Golok Vrindavan. And as per the different prayers in Brahma Samhita, we can see that how Lord Brahma was given that vision, where he describes Golok Vrindavan, Chintamani Prakara Sadmasu Kalpa Vriksha Lakshat Vitesu Surbhir Abhir Palayantam Lakshmi Sahastra Shata Sambrahma Sevyamanam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. This Golok Vrindavan is made of touchstone. Chintamani Prakara Sadmasu Kalpa Vriksha Lakshat Viteshu. There are millions and millions of desire trees. And Surbhir Abhir Palayantam, this Govinda, the son of Nanda Maharaj, is tending and giving pleasure to a lot of cows that are known as Surbhi cows. Surbhi cows are those cows that give unlimited milk. And that unlimited milk is a result of pure love that is emanating for Nandanandan. Just like a mother, it is said that a mother in her Vatsalya bhav, or in her motherly affection, sometimes just when she actually sees her baby, immediately milk starts flowing from her breast. So similarly, the cows of Golok or Gokul, they immediately, the moment they even smell the air that passes, that has been touched to Krishna, they immediately discharge a lot of milk, and therefore they are known as Surbhi cows. They give unlimited milk. So Surbhir Abhir Palayantam. Krishna is known as Govinda. Go means the cows, and Vinda means to give pleasure. So he gives pleasure to those cows, and due to the reciprocation, this Surbhir Abhir Palayantam, the Surbhi cows emanate unlimited oceans of milk in Golok Vrindavan. That is the land of Golok. And Lakshmi Sahastra Shata Sambrahma Sevyamanam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Lakshmi here means all the gopis. All the gopis, the milkmaid the milkmaids, especially we are talking about the fifth rasa or the Madhurya rasa, the gopis as the young milkmaids. So that is the Madhurya rasa, that the fifth rasa that I'm talking about, where there is the lover and the beloved, where Krishna is Shriya Kantaha Kantaha Parama Purushaha. In another verse in Sri Brahma Samhita, that Brahmaji starts this very long verse, Shriya Kantaha Kantaha Parama Purusha Kalpataravo Dhruma Bhumis Chintamani Prakara Sadma Kalpa Vriksha. So like that he goes on. So where he's saying that Shriya Kantaha Kantaha, that he is the lover and the beloved of all these milkmaids. So that is Lakshmi Sahastra Shata Sambrama, and they are constantly serving Sri Krishna. Thousands and thousands of Lakshmis or gopis are serving. That land is Golok Vrindavan, and I offer my obeisances to the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, the son of Nanda Maharaj, known as Govinda. Go means the cows, and Go also means Gokul. Go also means the gopis. Go also means the gopas. So Vinda, and Vin means to give pleasure. He gives pleasure to all those entities in this dham known as Golok Vrindavan. So within Golok Vrindavan Dham, these specialties exist in a very amazing way that do not exist even in Vaikuntha Lokas. In Vaikuntha Loka, it is said that there is only 2.5 rasas, which is mostly predominantly dasya in nature. And then there is some resemblance of the Sakhya and Vatsalya. Madhurya is only considered half because only the wives of Lord Narayanas, the different Narayanas, the different Lakshmis, only Narayan is restricted to their love. Or like Lord Ramachandra is simply restricted to the love of Sita Mata. He cannot extend himself to anybody else. He is Maryada Purushottam. Just like if you all remember in the Ramayana, when they were in the forest at that time, due to the Mruga, Maya Mruga, the illusory deer that appeared, Marichi came so that he wanted to allure Lakshman, who was protecting Ram and Lakshman. They were well situated in their kutia, in the hut. And then when that beautiful deer appears, Sita Mata was captivated and says, Ram, can you please bring that? What a beautiful fawn. I would like to keep him as a pet. Would you go and bring him for me, please? And then Lord Ramachandra went behind, and the deer took him deep into the forest. It was an illusory deer that was created under the guidance of Ravan so that he could kidnap Sita. And then the rest is history, where even then, Lakshman was asked to stay behind and protect Sita. Do not under any circumstances leave Sita Mata. That was the instruction by Lord Ramachandra. But then when Marichi, in the form of the deer, shouted far into the forest, in the voice of Lord Rama, "Hey Lakshman! Hey Lakshman! Oh Lakshman! Oh Lakshman!" as if he was in dire trouble. And here Sita Mata is convincing Lakshman, your brother is in trouble. Leave, go for his assistance. And Lakshman says, I know my brother, he can never be in trouble. And then Mother Sita, in her own loving emotion for her own husband, says a few things that really hurt Lakshman's Kshatriya spirit, where he says that, oh, you're a coward and you cannot protect your own brother. So then Lakshman eventually reluctantly leaves. And then, of course, there's this Lakshman Rekha. There are two kinds of versions. In the Valmiki Ramayana, there is no mention of Lakshman Rekha. But in the Kamban Ramayana and the other Ramayans, they talk about the line that was drawn by Lakshman. And if anybody entered that line from the outside, would burn to ashes. Anyways, to make a long leela short here, to bring the point home, Lakshman goes behind and finally finds Lord Ramachandra nice and safe, and it was the deer who had imitated his voice. And Lord Ramachandra said, how come you're here? You left Sita Mata alone. He says, yes, this is what happened. I was forced to come see you. And then by the time when they come back, gone. Sita Mata was gone. Ravan came in the form of a Brahman sadhu, and he would not accept any alms beyond inside the line. He said, you must come outside. I am a sadhu, you have to respect me. And Sita Mata, were being so innocent, kind of was coerced by Ravan to come out, and then she was immediately captured because Ravan knew about that deadly line that he could not cross due to the siddhis that are invested in it. And then after kidnapping Sita, she was taken to Sri Lanka, put in the Ashok Vatika, in that forest, or in the Upavan, in the garden there of Ashoka. And there, she was, there was so many attempts made to torture her, with all the different Rakshasinis, trying to convince her to, give up Ram, and also, become the wife, one of the wives of Ravan. And she said, no, he is my Lord. So this is the bhav in Vaikuntha, that once, so then, at some point in those forests, when they are searching, in the forest at that time, Suparnkha, the one of the Rakshasinis of Ravan, she goes there, and she tries to approach Lord Ramachandra in a very illusory, beautiful form of a beautiful woman, very youthful looking and everything, and says, please marry me. And then Ram says, no, I cannot. I have taken a vow of Ekapatni. So that is his Madhurya Ras, limited to that one particular wife, or including all the different Narayanas. They're limited to only the Lakshmi or the Mahalakshmis that are there in Vaikuntha. So then she says, but my Lakshman has not taken a vow. You can ask him to marry you. He's a Kshatriya. We Kshatriya kings, if we want, we can marry. But then, eventually, seeing her original form, and the way she was pretending, Lakshman cut off her nose and sent her back to Lanka. Anyways, so in Vaikuntha, there is only majority, the rasa is Dasya rasa, and the rest of them, they kind of add up to only 2.5 rasas. But in Golok Vrindavan, there are 4 rasas. And these rasas are so special in nature that they are very intimate to Sri Krishna. There is Dasya Ras in Golok Vrindavan also. Dasya Ras, as in Krishna has his tailor. Krishna has so many servants in the house of Nanda Maharaj who tend to him, and so many dasis who tend to Mother Yashoda, who help her out in the daily chores because they are kings. He's known as the Vraj. Vraj means Nanda Maharaj, the king of Vraj. So in this, because we are in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, and this Kam Gayatri mantra was given to Lord Brahma further gave it down in Parampara, in Guru Tattva, it came in disciplic succession to Naradji as it is, and then it came to Vyasdev, and then from Vyasdev in many perfect disciplic succession down to Madhvacharya, and Madhvacharya to Madhavendra Puripad to Ishwar Puripad to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, who, by the way, they were his Siksha disciples. They were not actually initiated, but Siksha and Diksha, generally we don't differentiate. More so over the Siksha Guru has a lot of emphasis in our Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. And then it further came down to the Acharyas such as Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Baldev Vidyabhushan, then to Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Gaur Krishna Das Babaji Maharaj, to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And 32nd in line in this pure Sampradaya is A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada, and all those sincere followers of Srila Prabhupada. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, and Prabhupada said, you all become gurus, repeating the words of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that Bharat Bhumite Manusha Janma Hoilo Ja, Jivan Sharthak Kori Karo Par Upkar, Amar Agya Taroi Desh, Jare Dekho Tare Kaho Krishna Updesh. So, Amar Agya Guru Hoya, you all become gurus. So, the qualification of Guru Tattva is we have to be very receptive. That's the first qualification. Not only to have that proper desire, first we will have to have that sincere desire. That's the number one qualification. Sushrubi Krutubihi Tatshanat. Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd verse, the last line, it says that Krishna can be arrested within the hearts Ishvara sadhyo avaruddhate atra. Avaruddhate atra means he can be arrested. Arrested means in a loving way. Krishna can be controlled. Everybody knows Krishna as Bhakta Vatsala. But he can become Bhakta Vashya. Vashya means to be controlled. So Ishvara sadhyo avaruddhate atra. Avaruddhate atra means immediately, tat shanat means immediately he can be controlled by that pure devotee who has got that sincere desire. This is the first qualification that Srimad Bhagavatam says. We don't even have to be pure. We don't even have to have any other qualification. But the sincerity of the purpose should be there. We should have within each of us, sometimes some of us have been in this movement 35 years, 40 years, 32 years, 20 years, 10 years, 12 years, 5 years, 2 years, or maybe just joined a week ago, or interested in Krishna consciousness. But the entire sincerity, if the entire sincerity of the purpose is there, that is our qualification. Then we leave it rest to the Guru Tattva. It is like I gave the example last time, if some of you all can remember, that if there is a bowl, and if there are, let's say 3 persons, just to give an example to shortlist. One has a small bowl, the size of my palms, as you can see. And he goes and says, can you give me some milk? So the person has lots of milk. He's going to fill that milk to the brim of the bowl, the size of this particular small size bowl, and the person goes away. Somebody else has a bigger bowl, or maybe a big bowl like this, and he asks for milk, and he is getting the milk that is full to the brim in that medium sized bowl, and somebody has a huge bowl, perhaps a huge vessel that he needs that probably can accommodate 5 gallons of milk, and that person is able to give that much milk as well without any issues. So he fills it to the brim. So here's what that is called a patra. Just to give you and most of you all who are from the Indian background, most of the vernacular languages, whether Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, patra is used for a vessel. And patra in Sanskrit also has a primary and secondary meaning. The secondary meaning is a vessel, but patra means also a qualified person. So patra means we should be able to hold the kripa. And Prabhupada and our Guru Acharyas say that the mercy or the kripa of the Acharyas or the Guru is just like the sunshine. It shines equally upon everywhere in the entire universe. On the suns, on the mountains, on all the different planets, in the valleys, on the rivers, on the lakes, on the terraces, on the buildings, everywhere it shines equally. But there are some who refuse to come out into the sunlight. Then what can the sun do? If someone using their minute independence decides to stay inside a dark room with very dark shades and blinds where a single ray of sun, he wants to block it, he doesn't want that, then what can the sun do? Similarly, the mercy of the Acharyas, the Guru Tattva, the mercy of Lord Balram, the mercy of Lord Nityananda, and all those great Acharyas who are been good patras, not only good, they have been excellent patras, because they have been able to receive unlimited mercy. In the last verse, we had discussed that the Guru is somebody, this material world is samsara. Samsara means the repeated cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease, something that non-stop it occurs since time immemorial. And because of these sufferings, Krishna even says in the Bhagavad Gita that Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Dosha Anudarshana, that birth, death, old age, and disease, once you see the false, there is miseries in it, and I need not elaborate on it. It's full of, this whole material world is full of miseries. Padam Padam Vipadam. Srimad Bhagavatam says every step of the way there is Vipadam. Vipadam means problems. There is a lot of miseries every step of the way. Prabhupada has used some wonderful words. He has said that in this material world, a lot of ignorant people think that cessation of miseries is misconstrued to be happiness. I will repeat Srila Prabhupada's words as it is. Cessation of miseries Cessation of miseries is misconstrued to be happiness. So when we are, another example that Srila Prabhupada has given time and again, that when we are sick, when we, let's say we have fever, cough, cold, flu, or let's say jaundice, when we are with the hepatitis disease, all these different diseases that are there, then at that time we are in a very healthy or unhealthy state, and we feel very miserable. And then when the disease is gone, we feel a great pleasure. But that great pleasure, why are we feeling that much pleasure? Because we have been revived in our natural state. So just when sometimes what happens is these miseries come and go, they are flickering, and the happiness also is flickering. So when these come and go, when the miseries come, we are unhappy, and when these miseries go, we are misconstruing them, or we are misunderstanding them for true bliss or happiness. So true bliss is not that. True bliss is through the Krishna consciousness that we obtain, which they have obtained. Praptasya kalyana gunarnavasya vande guru Sri Charanarvindam. They have been such amazing patras so that they were able to hold unlimited mercy out of their humility and out of their oral reception and their surrender to their predecessors, to their gurus, that they have been able to obtain. Praptasya means to obtain. Kalyana means the all auspiciousness. And the highest auspiciousness is when one gets that realization that I am not this body, I am a spirit soul, and I am an eternal servant of Krishna, and I am capable of serving Sri Krishna in these four rasas, whether it is in the Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, or Madhurya rasa. And in particular, we are concerned with the son of Nanda Maharaj in this mood of Madhurya rasa. As we slowly graduate, as we study, our Acharya's books, we will realize that, wow, we are in the Harvard and the Stanfords of all the different universities that are available for education, in education of theism. So, praptasya kalyana, gunarnava. Guna means transcendental qualities, the arnava means ocean. And they are a transcendental ocean of these transcendental qualities that come from Radharani and Shyamsundar. Because they have been able to sakshat haritvena samasta sastra uktas tatha bhavyata eva sadvi kinto prabhoya priya vatasya vande guru Sri Charanarvindam. Verse number 7 of this Gurvashtakam. That they have obtained all the wonderful qualities, the Gunarnava from Radha and Krishna, especially from Radharani. So these are some Rasik secrets. But again, coming back to the main point of Guru Tattva, that these are the ones that they seek the utmost, they are the utmost benefactors of mankind. Bhuvi grinanti je bhuri dajana. They are indeed the most munificent benefactors of mankind because they are the servants of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Namo Mahavadanyaya, as Rupa Goswami says, the most munificent personality. He is the Audharya Avatar. He is even more kind than Nandananda. He is even more kind than Shyamsundar, because he has got Radharani. That Mahaprabhu is the embodiment in the mood of Radha, and therefore they are known as the Gunarnava Vasya, the gurus in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this wonderful Gaudiya Vaishnava line. They can extinguish the forest fire of miseries. A forest fire cannot be extinguished by normal means, by even thousands of fire brigades, or even with aviation related fire extinguishing modus operandi. No matter what, only a torrential rain can extinguish this fire, can extinguish this forest fire, this davanal. So this davanal, our davanal, is the repeated since time immemorial, again and again, puna puna janam, puna puna maranam, janani jathare shayanam. Again and again, we are born to different mothers, janani jathare, attached to the different umbilical cords of different mothers in different births. So like this, we are coming back again and again, going through the three different Adhyatmic, Adi Bhautik, and Adi Devik kleshas, the different miseries in this material world, simply a repetition which is known as samsara, and only a Vaishnava Acharya who has perfectly been a perfect patra, who has received auspiciousness in the perfect parampara, can extinguish that forest fire. And then further, we see in this particular treatise, this Mangalarti or Gurvashtakam, he says that Mahaprabho Kirtan Nitya Gita Vaditra Madhyan Manaso Rasayana Romanchakam Pashtu Taranga Bhajo Vande Guru Sri Charanaravindam. So here, actually, so many people ask this question: how can we recognize a pure Guru? Many people have posed, and sometimes even if we don't ask, those who are inclined towards spirituality, that question definitely pops in their heads many a time, not once. I'm sure it has popped into the heads of each one of you. How can we identify a pure Guru? What are the lakshanas, or what are the symptoms of a pure Guru? So my dear devotees, my humble request is, please study this Gurvastakam. I know we sing it every day, and most of us know it by heart. And we also know the standard meanings, the standard translation. But just simply reading the standard translation is not sufficient enough to give us a very deep insight. We have to actually hear such subject matters, and we should never rush into it, because this is our spiritual life. It is just like a student who has given so many sacrifices for their college career or for their education. They give up their playtime, they give up so many things, they don't eat well sometimes, and they always have their sincerity in their studying the books. We also have to have that sincere desire. Then what happens is we will become good patras. We will become eligible. Our vessel will become deeper and deeper and deeper to receive more mercy. And then it will take us to an unfathomable deep ocean. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said in the word, in the very first verse of the Sathcitananda, Ananda Ambudhi Vardhanam. These three words are amazing. I mean, every word of the Sathcitananda, again, that is a seminar by itself. Each verse can probably take 8 sessions or 7 sessions on each verse of the Sathcitananda if we want to really get something deep outside, so that we can take home. It is not necessary to remember all these verses and Sanskrit, but the whole idea that I always tell myself also and share with others is, take home the message, take home the theme, take home what we stand for, take home, know who we are, know where we can go, know what our eternal identities can be achieved. And when that itself, that information, even not the realizations, my dear Matajis and Prabhus, not even the realizations, just that information itself is an impetus. That is encouraging. Just like a student, as he's studying hard and harder, and as he achieves new and newer levels, that becomes a self-impetus to advance more and more. So that is the whole goal. And most of my by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga, I try not to rush the topic and finish it off in half an hour or 45 minutes. I mean, it could be done, but then, it is just like sometimes, heard it, but did not absorb it or understand it. That can happen. And it can happen to all of us. We are all in this material world, in the world of illusion, inebrities, inclination to cheat, and imperfect senses. That's what we are all of. So again and again, when we hear the pure Vani of our Gaudiya Acharyas, then it will help us to raise the bar in our spiritual life, to become good students of spirituality. And that is the goal. So here in the second verse, and the verses onwards, all these verses show the lakshana, or the qualities of a pure Guru. So when we ask this question, if we study every word of this Gurvastakam, which is one of the amazing prayers amongst many other prayers written by the Acharyas, glorifying the Acharya, it tells us that yes, it's like, a checklist. When we see a particular person, what are the checklists, in mentally, or we can even tell about ourselves when we are in our spiritual life. Where do we stand? Sometimes we can cheat others. We always try to put our best in front of others, so that everybody is saying, oh, what a wonderful person, or what a wonderful devotee. but internally, we should know who we are. And if we don't, then we have cheated ourselves. We have really cheated ourselves. So the whole idea is that we all need to advance. And we need to advance with the association of satsang. Sat means eternal. And sat, secondary meaning is truth. But truth is eternal. Any other truths that are of ephemeral in nature or temporary, they are not permanent truths. Therefore, Satyam Param Dhimai, Vyasadeva prays to Sri Krishna in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the opening Mangalacharan verse, last line, Satyam Param Dhimai, I offer my obeisances to the absolute truth, Sri Krishna Nanda Nandan in Golok Vrindavan. That is the explanation given by our acharyas, the six Goswamis and Srila Prabhupada, etc. So this is the most important thing, what we take home. So here, the symptoms of the acharya are there in each and every verse. Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nitya Gita Vaditra Madhyan Manasora Sena Romanchakam Pashru Taranga Bhajo Vande Guru Sri Charnaravinda. So what does that mean? If we examine this verse, what are the qualities of the pure acharya? The qualities of the pure acharya is, now again, we can even divide this into two different sections, the external and the internal. Now, the external is also spiritual reason. Please do not misunderstand as external as in as in Maya. No. I just want to clarify first. Even in the spiritual life, there are very deep internal reasons and there are also spiritual external reasons. And the external reasons are mainly for the sadhaka. Sadhak means one who is practicing Krishna consciousness, one who is not perfected yet, one who is following rules and regulations. That is sadhak. That is the life. So we are all sadhaks. Prabhupada as he first wants us to be perfect sadhaks. Once we are good sadhaks, and once we are very perfect in philosophy and in all respects, that all sadhana, like chanting minimum 16 good rounds, okay, it's just not 16 rounds. Prabhupada has said 16 good rounds. So the quality of the 16 rounds should be good. And then following the 4 regulative principles of freedom, no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling. All these are the Prabhupada did not get a dream. It is something that he has obtained from the acharyas. Praptyasya kalyana gunarnavasya vande guru Sri Charnaravindam. It is obtained from the acharyas, from the pure Vaishnavas, from the Shastras. Striyam dutam panam shunam yatra adharma chaturvida. It is not that Srila Prabhupada got a dream that I should just say no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, or no illicit sex. No. It said in, actually this is a verse from Mahabharata, and I think it is from the Adi Parva, where Vyasadeva has very nicely proclaimed. Vyasadeva is none other than Mahavishnu. He is the subjective portion of Sri Krishna. He is an avatar of Sri Krishna. And he is saying, striyam, meaning illicit sex out of marriage. One should not, striyam, dutam means gambling. Panam means intoxication. And shunam means meat eating. Yatra adharma. Yatra dharma chaturvida. Chatur means 4. And yatra means these. And adharma means opposite of dharma. So we are here for dharma. That is the most important thing, because we have got this human form of life. This human form of life is meant to cultivate spirituality. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Because we have got this human form of life, we should all be inquiring about the higher truths. Brahma Jigyasa. Brahma means spirituality. Brahma means Brahma has many different meanings in Sanskrit. One meaning of Brahma is the spirit soul. Another meaning of Brahma is the supreme spirit soul, or the Paramatma. So it is cultivating knowledge of Atma, cultivating knowledge of Paramatma, cultivating knowledge of where the Atma comes from, what is the destination of Atma, what is the duty of the Atma, and cultivating the knowledge that Paramatma is an ansha or a part and parcel of Nandan Krishna from Golok Vrindavan. Cultivating this entire knowledge itself is a very, very important curriculum. And that is what is so important for us as sadhaks. Following the 4 regulative principles, reading Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, association of devotees. Whenever we get time, we should do Mathuravas or Vrindavan Vas or Tirthavas. We should go to the places of holy places. Gaur Amara Jai Shabstane Heribo Pranay Bhakata Sange. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in one of his bhajan, wherever Gauranga Mahaprabhu went, Shei Sthana Heribo Ami Pranay Bhakata Sange. I will go visit all those different places of pastimes that happen in the different tirthas. Wherever my Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went, along with, I will go in the company of Pranay Bhakat. Very important. Pranay Bhakat. Pranay Bhakat means those who have understood the Tattva, especially the Gaudiya Vaishnava Tattva. That is Pranay Bhakat. Pranay means the amorous pastimes of Radha and Krishna. What do we stand for? Our actually goal is to become Dasanu in Radha Dasyam, where we will eventually, our goal is to become, to assist those Manjaris and those Gopis in the eternal pastimes of Radha and Krishna in the Nikunja Seva, in the bowers of Vrindavan. So for their pleasure, for the pleasure of the divine couple, that is the ultimate goal. We have to qualify ourselves, we have to become patras so that we can be given permission to enter. Just like somebody, a mundane example, but to bring the point home, not everybody can walk into the compound of the White House. Not everybody can walk into the building of the White House. Not everybody can walk into the Oval Office, which is actually the office of the president. Not everybody can walk into the West Wing, where the residence of the president is. So only very intimate servants or intimate friends or intimate persons are allowed. So that is an analogous to what I'm trying to say is that we have to know what our prayojan is. There are three things in spiritual life: Sambandha, Abhidhya, and Prayojan. Sambandha is related mostly to sadhana bhakti, where like I mentioned, that we follow the 4 regulative principles, we chant minimum 16 good rounds, we read Srila Prabhupada's books, we associate with good devotees, and we go to, whenever we get time, vacation, we go to the tirthas, we go to Vrindavan, Mayapur, Navadvip, etc. And and then we also worship the deities at home. Actually, these are the instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is sadhana bhakti that helps us establish a sambandha or a relationship with Krishna. And that relationship with Krishna, by the mercy of the Guru Tattva, is established, that we know that here is the relationship, an eternal relationship with Krishna that I have to establish, and this is the process. And the process itself is known as abhidhya. So following the process, and the process would include even getting all the way from the Shraddha stage to Bhav stage, where we are given a glimpse of who we are in the spiritual world when we attain that perfection. Ado Shraddha, first we have faith. Due to some faith, we start going to the temple, and then we start meeting devotees. Tatha Sadho Sangha. Sadho Sangha means devotees. And then with Sadhu Sangha, when we meet devotees, devotees tell us what we should do and what we should not do. Like a good doctor tells us what is good for our health. Similarly, a good devotee or a Vaishnava will guide us what is good for our spiritual health and what is not good for our spiritual health. And then he will advise us what to do based on what is obtained in Parampara from Srila Prabhupada. So do's and don'ts, that is called Bhajana Kriya. And through Bhajana Kriya, we actually then get serious about spiritual life, and we surrender to a spiritual master in a bona fide sampradaya, which is in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, and one of the main branches of the Gaudiya Sampradaya is Iskcon. So taking a spiritual master, a Diksha. And once we have taken Diksha, actually, or initiation, that is the beginning of our spiritual life. Yes, my dear devotees, sometimes we feel very inside, a certain pride goes within us, thinking that, oh, we are initiated, we are better than the others. No, if we look up the meaning of the word initiation in any dictionary, it will tell us it is the beginning. So that is the beginning. And the beginning means the more humble we are, the more we understand Srila Prabhupada's books, the more we understand Tattva, Sambandha, then we will be able to do our abhidhya, our lessons, the second stage of the process, following the process. And after Bhajana Kriya, all our anartha nivritti, all the different misgivings that we have accumulated from lifetimes will disappear. All the misgivings. That is called anartha, nivritti. Anartha means all the dirty things in the heart. They will disappear. Anartha nivritti. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, by chanting of the holy names, the process was cheto darpana marjanam bhava mahadava agni nirvapanam. The great, the forest fire of this material existence will be seized by taking shelter of the holy name. And that is the process. So that is called, and then after bhajana kriya, we will be really situated in good devotional service, which is known as nishtha, ruchi, asakti, bhav, and then Krishna prem. So all these processes pass the bhajana kriya. Bhajan kriya, nishtha means we are fixed up. Ruchi means we have real taste. Asakti means we are so attached to devotional service. We are attached to the lotus feet of Vaishnavas. We are attached to Vaishnava Seva. We are attached to the Seva of Radha Krishna. That is asakti. And then when we come to that next stage is bhav. At that time, whether the guru who is initiating guru or even our Acharya Srila Prabhupada physically present or not present, they will impart to us by their mercy our identity in the spiritual world. There's bhav stage. In bhav stage, we get a glimpse of our identity, who we are, what our services are. It is like getting the Ekadash bhav, the 11 symptoms, that in which group do we belong in the Madhurya Rasa, under which gopi we will be serving, what dress we will be wearing, what will be our name, what will be our service, etc. There are 11 different symptoms that are imparted to us at that bhav stage. Even when we sing the Guru Puja in the morning, not the Mangalarti, the second one, during Shringar Darshan, we sing that in the Chakshudana Dilo Jai Janme Janme Prabhu Sei Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito Prema Bhakti Jahan Hoite Avidya Vinasha Jayate Vede Gai Jaharo Charito. So this also is a wonderful bhajan that describes the qualities of the Guru Tattva that we should study. Perhaps at another time, when time permits, and when we will take, I generally like to revolve my lectures around the teachings of the acharyas through their writings, through their bhajans especially, because these are their deep realization. So here Narottam Das Thakur in the Guru Puja that we sing, Chakshu Dana Dilo Jai, Janme Janme Prabhu Sei. So they gave us the transcendental eyes, birth after birth, even though they don't have to be present here physically. Through their Vani, through their instructions, it will come to us, because Paramatma or Chaitya Guru is within our hearts, who has understood the sincerity of our purpose. How much do we really want to advance? How much really we do want to know who we are and what we should achieve? So that is a part of the Abhidya, and Prayojan is when we get Krishna Prem. Prayojan is the final, where we attain Krishna Prem, the results of the Sambandha, the result of the Abhidya and the Prayojan. So what I'm trying to say is, my dear devotees, that we should know what Sambandha, Abhidya and Prayojan is. Not necessarily even if we don't remember these Sanskrit names, but at least the theme, that once we know. And our Prayojan is, I was talking about Prayojan. Prayojan is Das Anudas Anudas of Radharani. And because when we attain that, Krishna is most pleased. And when Krishna is most pleased, Radharani is pleased. It is like a very amazing situation, Achintya Bheda Veda Tattva, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught when he came, because he himself was not sufficient enough to give that Madhurya Ras. Therefore, Radharani had to come, wrap herself around Krishna, and therefore he became Gauranga because of the complexion of Radharani. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari. Her complexion is like molten gold. And not only the complexion, she also came with the bhav. So Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nitya Gita. Our Gaudiya Acharya is always absorbed in the eulogies and kirtan and singing the praises of Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu means Radha and Krishna, the combination of both in the Madhurya Prema. And that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spent last 12 of his years of his life in the Gambhira in Jagannath Puri, simply meditating on this Madhurya Rasa. And that is his internal bhajan. And the external bhajan was right when he, at 24 years of age, when he took sannyas in Katwa from Keshav Bharati Swami, and then he started preaching the Mahamantra. That was the goal of taking sannyas, so that the Kali Yuga, Yuga Dharma, Ajanu Lambita Bhujo, Kanakayo, Dhato, Sankirtanai, Pitaro, Kamalaya Taksho, Vishwambaro, Dvijavaro, Yuga Dharma Palo, Vande Jagata Priyakaro, Karuna Avatar. Vidhnvantha Thakur quotes this in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, in the Mangalacharan, that Ajanu Lambita Bhujo, those whose hands have extended to their knees, the physiognomy of the body, those are very amazing personalities. Even Srila Prabhupada's hands extended to his knees. So Chaitanya and Nitai, Gaur Nitai, both of their hands were so long that when they stood, they extended beyond their knees. Ajanu Lambito Bhujo, Kanaka Avdhato, with molten golden complexions, Kanaka Avdhato, Sankirtanai Pitaro, and they were the founders of the Sankirtan movement. Pitaro means fathers. Sankirtanai Pitaro, Kamalaya Taksha, with beautiful lotus-like eyes. Vishwambharo Dvijavaro. Vishwambhara, they are indeed, Gaur Nitai are Krishna Balram, who are Vishwambhara. Vishwa means the entire creation, not only the material creation, but also the spiritual worlds. Vishwambharo, and Bharo means one who is the Bharta, or the maintainer. So Lord Balram, Krishna, they are the maintainers of all the spiritual and material. Vishwambharo, Dvijavaro, and Dvija means Brahmins, twice born. Dvijavaro, because they were born to wonderful Brahmin parents. Hadai Pandit, Nityanand Prabhu's father, and Jagannath Mishra, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's fathers, they were the perfect Brahmins, born in that. Dvijavaro, Yuga Dharma Palo. The external reason, which I was just explaining through this verse, is they actually propagated the holy names. That is the most predominant dharma in Kali Yuga. Hare Nam, Eva Kevalam, Kalo Eva Nasti, Eva Nasti, Eva Nasti Gatiranyatha. That in this age of Kali Yuga, chanting of the holy names, chanting of the holy names, chanting of the holy names, there is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. 3 times it is stressed in the Puran. There is no other way. So that is the main reason. But that Mahaprabhu Kirtan, this is a very amazing. That means it shows that our acharyas are basically singing and preaching exactly in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not think something happens, and that is one of the reasons we have to be very careful when we sing bhajans, when we sing, when we preach. Even philosophy is a Sankirtan. Samyak Kirtan iti Sankirtan. That's another amazing word, Sankirtan. Mahaprabhu Kirtan and Sankirtan, they're analogous. Samyak means full Kirtan. Full means complete Kirtan. Complete means, now there are different meanings, but we can go into a higher gradation as we explain them. Because Sankirtan means congregational chanting, means along with all. So that is very good for Kali Yuga. Divided we fall, united we stand. So when we are in the association of devotees, the chances of Maya encapsulating us will be less. But if we do Nirjan Bhajan by ourselves, then there's a higher chance in Kali Yuga that we will fall down. And Bhakti Siddhanta Swami Prabhupada has very vehemently said that no Nirjan Bhajan. Tumi Kishara Vaishnava, Nirbhajan Bhajan is not approved. That one should, actually associate with devotees. So the point here is that Sankirtan, that's one meaning. Sankirtan, another meaning of Sankirtan means Samyak. Samyak means full. And full means, according to our Gaudiya Vaishnava consciousness, it is Radha Krishna in Golok Vrindavan or in Vrajmanda. That is full. When we eulogize them, like Mahaprabhu Kirtan and Nitya Gita, and we sing and dance, and that is exactly what our seva is. When we go back home, back to Godhead, that is what the gopis are doing. The Astasakis, the Manjaris, and all others, they are expert in 64 qualities, artistic qualities, and a few of them being especially music and dancing. And that is done for the pleasure of Radha Krishna. So we have to understand that Mahaprabhu Kirtan means that it is not for name and fame. Sometimes we find that in a temple environment, some of the singers who have sang for many years, a little bit of pride develops in them, and they see that, okay, you know what, let me see how many people are gathered in the temple hall. Oh, not too many. You go sing, and he will send some other devotee. And when the hall is full, then they come in like a big king, and then they take the throne, and then they will want to sing. We have witnessed that. That is not the mood of Mahaprabhu Kirtan. Mahaprabhu Kirtan means only, even if you're by yourself, you have your deities, you sit in front of the deities and you sing for their pleasure. That is Mahaprabhu Kirtan. Sankirtan means Samyak Kirtan, for the full satisfaction of Radha and Krishna. That is Samyak Kirtan. You know, I'm running out of time today, and I've hardly even scratched the second verse. What can I say? But anyways, this is all about our Guru Tattva. So Mahaprabhu Kirtana, Nritya Gita, and that's what Srila Prabhupada did. He always, Gauravihita Kirtana Suni, Hridaya Ananda Nache. Bhaktivinoda Thakur in one of his bhajans says, we should only sing bhajans and kirtan that are authorized by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or by his sincere followers. And that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, anybody who came to him with something, like somebody had written something or commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, or it could be some poetry, he never first took a look at it. He had given instructions to Swarup Damodar Goswami that Swarup Damodar ji, you take a look at it, and if you think that this is in proper line of the pure Vaishnava line, you can bring it to me. And first, the Swarup Damodar Goswami, because many devotees used to come for the darshan of Mahaprabhu, to show them that I have written this or I have composed this. Please, Mahaprabhu, have a look at it. But he had assigned this seva to Swarup Damodar Goswami, who is none other than Lalita Sakhi in Nitya Leela. So she or he was the one in charge. And if he did not approve, it would not go to Mahaprabhu. So Gaura Vihita Kirtan Suni. That is why we have a very good specialty in Iskcon. We do not sing other bhajans that are not approved in the line of Mahaprabhu. Some people criticize Iskcon for that. That what is wrong if we sing Meera's bhajan? Or what is wrong if we sing the bhajan of such and such a devotee? They are all Krishna devotees. Iskcon is also Krishna devotees. But my dear sir, my dear Mata, that is the reason of these classes. We have to understand who we are. We have to understand who we represent. You know, we are in medical school and we are talking about learning something about medical school from an engineer. Yes, engineering is a branch of science. No doubt, we do not dispute that. But I want to become a cardiologist, then I have to learn that from a proper school that will teach me cardiology. Not from my 10th grade biology class, which also tells us about the aorta and the different arteries and this and that. That is not sufficient. So I hope this example will kind of bring home the point that why we do not permit Gaura Vihita Kirtan. So that is Mahaprabhu Kirtan. Because the mood of Mirabai, again, this is very deep. She is claiming that Krishna is hers only. Mere to Girdhar Gopal dusra na koi. You know, so she has taken a stance where she is a competitor of Radharani. And anybody who is a competitor of Radharani, they are basically, we don't even want to look at them. This is the bhav. Of course, a lot of devotees will not be able to understand this unless and until we come to that stage. Because we do not want to upset Mahaprabhu. Our goal is to anukulyena Krishna anushilanam. Anya bilashita shunya jnana karma navritam anukulyena Krishna anushilanam tad bhaktir uttam. That is the topmost bhakti based on our Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. When I say, I'm speaking from the conclusions of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, not from the Sri Sampradaya, not from that Sampradaya, not from the other Sampradaya. So that is what we are, that is what Srila Prabhupada is. So that is, my job is to present this as it is based on our understanding of what Srila Prabhupada understood, what he obtained from his predecessors. So all these bhajans that are not, and even mantras, some people, Prabhupada had to stop somebody many years ago. Bhaja Radhe Govinda Nitai Gaur Radhe Shyam. They sing those mantras even in Vrindavan. They say Jai Nitai, there is a sampradaya. There are different upasampradayas. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has identified, even within this Vaishnavas, there are so many upper sampradayas, means non-bona fide, like Aul, Baul, Shankachuda, Atibari. There are about 13 different upper sampradayas that they take the name of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They chant the name of Nityananda Prabhu. They chant the name of Radha Govinda. But they are Sahajya. Sahajya is also one of the upper sampradayas. Sakhi Bheki, another sampradaya of Sahajya in Bengal at that time was Bhaktivinoda Thakurji, and all our acharyas have ridiculed them. That they act like they are gopis, they dress up in saris, the males, and then they dance, and then simply, they have this guru, and then they enact everything as if they are in Golok Vrindavan in the Kunja Seva. No. First they have not even gone through the proper sadhana bhakti procedure. The sambandha gyan has not been established. They have not even gone through the abhidya process. And then they want to go straight into Madhurya Ras, imitating them. That is a huge offense. And eventually they end up committing some kind of illicit sex. And then it becomes a scandal. So many different things we will see, even in Vrindavan Dham. And that is why it is so important. Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nitya Gita Vaditra Madhyan Manaso Rasena. When the Guru Acharya, following in his footsteps, is singing perfectly the songs of the Acharyas in the line of Mahaprabhu Kirtan, is so ecstatic that he is full of romancha, kampa, ashru, taranga bhajo, vande Guru Sri Charnaravindam. He is, romancha means horripilation. Horripilation means standing of the hairs on an end. Simply when he is chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Nanam galata sudharaya, vadanam gadgada rudaya gira, vadanam pulkir, vadanam nichit kada, tavanam grihaneshu bhavishyati. Sistastakam. When will that day come? Mahaprabhu is showing that humility. But it is already there in him. It is already there in Prabhupada. It is already there in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas. That whenever they take the name of Krishna, Vadanam Gadgada Rudayakira, their tongues start faltering. They cannot say the word Krishna properly. Hare Krishna. Romancha, their hair stand on an end into ecstasy. Kampan means they are shivering. Ashru Taranga. Streams of tears roll down their cheeks simply by uttering these two words, Hare and Krishna, simply by chanting the holy names, simply by chanting the bhajan. Where are those symptoms? And we think we are advanced. We are nothing. When we are chanting the holy names, how many times? Maybe once in 10 years we maybe have had a symptom of a tear in our eyes, if we are lucky. That is Mahaprabhu's Kirtan. And when that happens, this Acharya goes into a trance. He is able to see the Leelas in Golok Vrindavan. He simply dances in ecstasy. Srila Prabhupada in Jhansi, before he even came to the US, he had started the League of Devotees. And his first, actually, disciple was Indian. Most people probably know it or don't know it, but I just want to share this. His name was Acharya Prabhakar. So it was Janmashtami time, and it was just him, Acharya Prabhakar Prabhu, and Srila Prabhupada, and they were celebrating Janmashtami. And it so happened that in the middle of the night, Acharya Prabhakar Prabhu got up, and at 2 a.m. in the morning, something like that, early in the morning, Srila Prabhupada was in his room in ecstasy playing the mridanga, and he was dancing. And there was ultimately when he saw a wonderful garland on Prabhupada's neck, and then he could not understand where the garland came from. And Prabhupada smiled and said that, I was dancing and chanting in Kirtan, and Krishna came and gave me his garland. This is Mahaprabhu Kirtan. This is Mahaprabhu Kirtan Nitya Gita. Not how many people are seeing or what. Our focus should be Radha Krishna. It is for their pleasure. And that is why devotees have to be very careful when somebody is performing a nice Kirtan, assist them. Do not go in front of them. Don't try, if you are a good mridang player, You know, a good mridang player or a good kirtan player will actually assist the vocalist who is singing, not go ahead of him or bang it so loud so that they want some attention, or take the tempo so high that the poor singer has to speed up to the speed of the mridanga. All that is aparad. That is not for the pleasure of Radha and Krishna. It should be music to the ears of Radha Krishna. That is Mahaprabhu Kirtan. It is for that anukulyana Krishna anushilanam tad bhakti ruttam. That is topmost bhakti. And then the symptoms will come, the Ashta Sattvic Vikars, where our hairs will stand on an end, tears will flow from our eyes, our mouth, our tongue will be faltering. This is Mahaprabhu Kirtan. When will that day come? We need to raise our bars, my dear devotees. I'm telling myself first. And I'm sharing this because you know what? We have a long way to go, and we have the highest of the highest conception, which nobody can achieve. We are so fortunate to be in this school, of Mahaprabhu's school, in this glorious movement of Iskcon. So please take it seriously. Let's raise our bar. Let's raise our desire. And the proper desires will come with the proper association. So thank you very much. I will stop here now, and then we will continue this theme of Guru Tattva next week. And I'll try to see whatever I can cover from this Samsara Davanala Prayers. There's so much nectar in it. And, you know, it's just pure blessings of these acharyas. We're simply offering their own, we are offering their own offerings to them. We don't know how to pray, but we have to learn how to pray, just like little children when they repeat the ABCs or when they repeat a poem that the parents have taught us. Similarly, we can start by that and then slowly dive deep into it with the bhav. The whole Srimad Bhagavatam, the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita, the books of the Goswamis, the entire theme is in this Gurvashtakam. It is all on a platter. So, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Samsara Davanala Lila Loka Tranaya Karunya Ghana Ganatvam Praptasya Kalyana Gunar Navasya Vande Guru Shri Charnaravindam. Yasya Prasadat Bhagavad Prasado Yasya Aprasadan Na Gati Kutopi Dhayan Stuvam Yasya Stri Sandhyam Vande Guru Shri Charnaravindam. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Over to you, Rudradev Prabhu. Or if there's any questions, we can go straight into any questions or reflections. And then I don't see Rudra Prabhu at the moment. Is he there? Prabhuji, can you unmute? So after any question, answers, or reflections, or corrections, if anybody has any, we will have His Grace Venkat Prabhu and Snigdha Radhika Mataji perform the ending kirtan. So I think you can unmute yourself, anybody who has anything to say.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Venkat Prabhu.
Thank you for your wonderful class. I had a question, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
So, when we are talking about the different sampradayas, Vaishnava sampradayas, sometimes we encounter devotees from maybe different sampradayas. Now, let's say, for example, we come across someone from a Sri Sampradaya, to be more specific, because we know a couple of devotees from the Sri Sampradaya, but for some reason they don't agree with our Gaudiya philosophy that Lord Shri Krishna is the Supreme Personality. They want, for their satisfaction, Lord Vishnu to be highest. And of course, we explain to them that there is no difference and try to take a discussion in a peaceful manner. But they somehow want us to accept Vishnu is the supreme, and like, you understand what I'm trying to say. So in these scenarios, what is the best approach for us to take? Should we just end the conversation, or how should we take this?
Very nice question. Very nice question. And we do encounter this. We do encounter different Vaishnava Sampradayas, and they're all good. Again, we are not condescending anybody. They're all great. Anybody who is a devotee of even Lord Vishnu is very, very qualified, a very, very fortunate personality. But in order, if the person is receptive, then one conversation that comes to my mind is the conversation between Venkat Bhatt and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Venkat Bhatt was the father of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And there was a wonderful conversation similar to what you're saying, that, Venkat Bhatt was a devotee of Lord Vishnu. As you know, that he was in the South India, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to his Padayatra and in South India. And then he presented some wonderful statements from the Shastra, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also presented statements. And then the reconciliation was that ultimately that Sri Sampradaya Vaishnava became a Gaudiya Sampradaya Vaishnava by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not only that, even the other brothers like Prakashananda Saraswati, who was also, and the other brothers of Vaikunth Bhatt, they became Vaishnava. So again, if we are not familiar with the philosophy, we can always leave it at a pleasant note. They're non-different. Yes, you're right, and that's it. But inside us, we should know who we are. Let them not brainwash us. If we are weak, and if we do not know who the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna is, and from whom everything emanates, if we have not studied Srimad Bhagavatam properly, then we will not be able to put up a good conversation where we don't have to be rude. We have to just put up a convincing conversation based on Shastra if the person is receptive, so that for his own well-being. But before that, we have to become good swimmers ourselves before we kind of, assist anybody in the deep waters. Otherwise, we will drown. Otherwise, he will make us, convert us, and confuse us that, oh, Vishnu, oh, Krishna came afterwards, but there are so many avatars before Krishna. A lot of people bring those arguments, like, Krishna only came in the Dwapar Yuga, but there are so many avatars that came before Krishna. Krishna came afterwards. So these are the kinds of stuff that they bring forward. But then we have to understand that, reading Prabhupada's books and the Acharya's books, all the answers are there. Krishna is Swarat, completely independent. Everything emanates from Krishna. Krishna can decide when he wants to come and when he wants to leave, just like a cricket team captain. Sometimes the cricket team captain, as an example, if he is a good batsman and he's always going as an opening batsman, like in our days, it used to be Sunil Gavaskar. I remember that. So he was always the opening batsman, along with his brother-in-law, Vishwanath. But sometimes we have seen that Gavaskar never came as the opening batsman. He came third down, or he came the fourth down. He came as the fourth in number, but he's the captain as he decides. Sunil Gavaskar was never a bowler, but he sometimes took bowling. I don't know if some of the old people who are here ever noticed that. Sometimes when the pace bowlers got tired and when they were getting whacked by the West Indies team, left and right, to change the strategy, they surprised, and Sunil Gavaskar came on and he bowled and he even took wickets because they were not used to. So the point is, he's the captain of the team. Krishna is Swarat, fully independent. He can come and go as he pleases. So these are the things that we should be able to tell them. And then the more we study Shastra, we can see there's a nice conversation between Srinivasa Acharya and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Hera page, Srinivasa Acharya and Sarup Damodar during the Hera Panchami festival during the Jagannath Rath Yatra, where Srinivasa Acharya represents Lakshmi Devi of Vaikuntha, that my Vaikuntha is best, my Lakshmi Devi is best, my Narayana is best. And then Sarup Damodar eventually cuts him, with the evidence that the opulence of Vaikuntha is not even equivalent to one drop of the opulence of my Golok Vrindavan, of my Radharani, of Shyam Sundar. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just looked at both of them, and he had a wonderful smile on his face when he saw Sarup Damodar Thakur bring that up. So these are the things, Prabhu. That is the whole idea, that we have to know if we don't even remember the verses, we can always remember the theme when we study. It's all there in Prabhupada's books. So of course, if we cannot, no need to argue. And again, at the end of the day, they are Vishnu Bhaktas.
Right.
So what's wrong with that? That's great. But again, I am in an engineering, I'm in a cardiology school. I may be interested in some parts of engineering. That's good. It's a part of science, but I'm not really interested. I've gone beyond that. That's my take. That should be the take of all the devotees in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's what I'm saying.
That's true.
Does that make sense to you, Prabhuji?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Good question, Prabhu. Haribol. Anybody else would like to?
Haribol Prabhu, Pranam Dandvat.
Yes, Mukund Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Dandvat Pranam, all glories to Shri.
Today's life, how is essential Guru and how we choose?
That's a very difficult question, actually. Anybody who is a sincere follower of Srila Prabhupada, if you find one, and it is impossible in today's date to find somebody that will match all the qualities in this Samsara Davanala or the qualities of Srila Prabhupada. They are Mahabhagavats. But initiation is important if you're serious in your life, because you get connected. I can give you a very crude example to make this understand. For example, you may love the girl who is everything for you, and the girl may love you, or that person who is everything for her, and they want to get married. Now, the marriage doesn't enhance their love. Love is always there, always, even before, but they still have to solemnize that marriage officially with a Brahmin, or if they are Christians, in the church with a priest, so that he can announce them as husband and wife, or the pujari or the Brahmin can announce as pati patni. So that the what do you call, the formal initiation is a formality that is required, but not for the sake of some kind of a show. It will only formalize our vows. It will formalize, it will make us more serious in our spiritual life. So we have to first, before even considering initiation, read Srila Prabhupada's books, attend the satsangs, start chanting the holy names. If you're chanting a few rounds, increase them slowly, steadily, and do that. So you are associating already with Radha Krishna and the associates through the holy name. You're associating with Prabhupada's books, so when you're hearing the message of Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas as it is through satsangs, you're already associating with them. The next thing is, when that commitment is there, that formality is there, then you need to find out through questioning very humbly a lot of different people that you may want to consider to be a guru, from whom you want to take a formal initiation. This is very important. Even Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Tad Vidhi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya. You serve the person, do not challenge. And then you will find that there is a lot of devotees who are qualified to give initiation. You choose somebody. But the main point is that our spiritual life should have already started seriously with the desire of associating with devotees, chanting the holy names, and reading Srila Prabhupada's books, or hearing Srila Prabhupada's books. That is the most important. Whether in the beginning stage or at the last stage, these things will never stop. It is like Srimad Bhagavatam, in that verse that we are studying on Sunday, the third verse, where it is, Srimad Bhagavatam is not only for, it is also Muhura or Rasika Bhuvi Bhavuka. It is relished by the non-liberated and also the liberated persons. So the formality of initiation is very important. One cannot just say that, I can just consider Prabhupada as my guru, or I can consider Radha Krishna as the guru, and I can just simply, do as I please. Because no, even Krishna or even Lord Ramachandra, they took gurus. They gave examples. Krishna took guru as Sandipani Muni. Lord Ramachandra took initiation from Vasishtha Muni. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took initiation from Ishwar Puripad. They don't need to, but this is to set an example. So again, we may find it, we may not find it in this lifetime. We don't need to rush it. It is not necessary to rush into initiation. And once you have taken initiation from a certain person, then you will become obligated to the rules of his game. Okay, and sometimes it may be palatable, sometimes it not may be palatable, and that is the reason we should always keep Srila Prabhupada in the center. Because he is the Acharya. Like my Guru Maharaj said that I can try my best to take you to the lotus feet of Prabhupada. I cannot take you back to Godhead. And again, this is what I feel is a true, in the present, this is what the position of a genuine Guru should be. That, I can take you to the Acharya. The Acharyas are rare, Gurus are many. But Gurus are like these Brahmins, that initiation formality is important, just like the wedding ceremony is important. But sometimes what happens is we may not even see that Brahmin in our life who got the wedding done. The pujari who did the wedding, we may not even see. So sometimes that happens that, the Gurus are so busy, we don't get that much association. So that is why our whole sampradaya is based on Siksha. Siksha, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur never got initiated by Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. He was a Siksha Guru. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj never got initiated by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a Siksha Guru. So like this, the importance of Siksha and Diksha Guru and all the other Gurus who can bring you closer to Krishna is important. One should not distinguish. In our otherwise somewhere we will commit some offense. That is our understanding based on the teachings of the Acharyas. So we have to study the other teachings through the bhajans, through the prayers, and see the symptoms. And sometimes we may not find that perfect person. So then, we have to, just use what we can, but consider we have the most perfect person, Srila Prabhupada, through his books, through his teachings. We are never there. We are never one centimeter away from Prabhupada. He's always there. I always feel anytime I open his book or whenever I am speaking katha, Srila Prabhupada is there with me. I have no strength to speak on my own. He's the one who, I generally don't even prepare for my lectures, unless I have to give it in a temple environment where I have only a limited time, then I have to, take some notes or whatever. But it is Srila Prabhupada who is presiding, he's the one. So, yes, Mukund Prabhu, this is a very complicated question, at the same time very simple, but the more you associate from inside, the answer will come to you, Prabhu, and you will be inspired to find a present living Guru eventually.
Very bold, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Thank you. Just you explained the Guru Mahatma. And I've heard about sometime the Guru give you some Guru mantra. So what is the effect in life, that Guru mantra?
Very effective if you have the faith. Some effect if you don't have the faith.
Very bold.
Very effective if you have the faith. No doubt, because that Guru mantra is not that particular Guru's individual property.
Okay.
That Guru Tattva comes from Baldev Prabhu, from Nityananda Prabhu. That Guru mantra comes from them.
Very bold, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah, they are just carriers. But the carrier, if the more the pure the carrier, the more transparent the carrier, the more Kripa Patra they can become, because their vessels can become deeper and deeper. And therefore they are chosen. Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale. Not everybody is sent from Vaikuntha or from Golok down here to the earthly planet to preach Krishna consciousness. Only very special devotees. Their patra is very deep. They have understood Krishna and Radha very deeply. So then they say, I don't mind. I'll go wherever you want. Oh Krishna, you want me to go to the Bowery, to that New York where all the drunkards and the hippies? No problem. With a smile. Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale. Or to the Hashberry district in San Francisco, where all the hippies were, doing drugs and they were all on the scene. No problem, Krishna. No problem, Radhaji. With a smile, Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale. So we need to become their assistants and learn how to become deeper vessels to receive that kripa. Hare Krishna. I hope I was able to give some satisfaction, Prabhu. Hare. Anybody else? Before we go.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Yes, Nanpran Prabhu, Dandvat Pranam Prabhuji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
With your kind permission, I would like to add something, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, please go ahead and add. Nanpran Prabhu is a very exalted Vaishnava. He lives in
Hari Bol,
Vrindavan.
Prabhuji, please.
Thank you. Right now, what time is it? It's you woke up really early, like at 2 a.m. to join this
Yes.
congregation.
It's all mercy of Krishna, Prabhuji, not my efforts.
Yes, go ahead.
I would like whenever somebody is inquisitive about the Lord, then tat vijnanartha guru meva abhigachet. That is means to find out that he has to take the shelter of Guru. And then he can go tat vidhi pranipratena pariprasnena sevaya uddakshanti te jnanam jnanina tattvadarshina. So once we take the shelter of Guru, then he will impart, when we become humble, go and pray unto his lotus feet, and then he will impart all the knowledge to us. But only when we inquire about it. Otherwise, he will not impart. We have to inquire from the Guru. And regarding how to find out the real Guru, it is not in our hand. We have to just pray unto the lotus feet of Krishna. This is what we have heard from Bhattji, that we just keep on praying, and he will arrange for a Guru. So we should always seek mercy of Krishna to find out the right Guru. That is what I would like to add, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Very true.
And Guru is the one who will never speak against the Shastras and Sadhu's Vani. If he is speaking against the Shastras and Sadhu's Vani, then he or she should not be considered as a Guru.
And also, Nanpran Prabhu, I would like to add that pure Guru will live the Shastra.
Yes.
Pure Guru will live. That is why they are
will not only understand. They will not only understand deeply about Radha Krishna. They will also follow them in their real life.
Very true.
Yeah.
So it is a challenge. It is a challenge to find, those kind of. But we have Prabhupada. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we have many Prabhuji.
Yes.
But we'll have to go to that market where such people are available.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Vaishnava
Hare
Prabhu,
Krishna.
you are there. Please, can you impart something on this subject matter?
You know what? I don't want to be too long on this because I think we spent enough time, but this is a good question. And what I want to say is that it'll be very difficult for a neophyte person who's aspiring to become a devotee, who's not yet initiated and not yet have any much of spiritual experience yet, to find a pure guru. As we know from Nectar of Instruction, the individual is prone to all these 4 defects, commit crimes, to be an illusion, and to make mistakes, etc. And under those circumstances, it'll be difficult for someone looking for a guru who's not yet initiated to find the pure guru. So therefore, as the Prabhu said just now said, pray to Krishna sincerely, beg for Krishna's mercy, and hopefully he will give you some guidance as to who you should choose as a guru. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaishnava Prabhu. Thank you all very much. Venkat Prabhu, please. You can start your kirtan. Unmute yourself, Prabhu. And I would request everybody else to mute themselves, except Venkat Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Veshatarine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,